All right, so welcome back. We move on with our Q Breakfast show. And of course, this morning I am so privileged to be joined by Mr. Isaac Teo. Of course, he is an author and he has this amazing book, and it is the Explore Mathematics Revision Guide. And so I think it's very important to also talk to, people that are able to teach and also write books for the purpose of educating young people, because during this COVID-19, obviously there are a lot of young people that are staying at home, not going to school. But also the question is, how does a young person still, learn and also make sure that they are able to get that education from home? Good morning, Mr. Isaac Teo.
Good morning. Thank you for hosting me.
You are definitely welcome. Now, tell us more about yourself.
Isaac Teo is a mathematics teacher.
Mm-hmm.
He's at St. Mary's Secondary School,
Mm-hmm.
and he's an author. He's also into empowering other people to become successful in life. He's the co-founder of the Authorship and Career Network. That's all about myself.
Okay, so when did you start writing?
This is the dream that I had. I started writing in 2000. I was writing some scripts, and after some time, then I began to look at the contribution after I did my college, and then 2012 I started writing books. Yes.
Okay, and how did you come up with a book, a mathematics book? How was the journey for you?
After I completed my professional education, that was in 2006, I began to look at the skill that I had on writing. And then I said, as I began to teach, I realized that learners had a challenge in mathematics. And I had to look at ways in which I can help the people that had problems in mathematics. Of course, I used to offer my services for free. Maybe on Saturdays I call pupils, come, we teach you. So I would teach them, but all the same they could not get all the benefits of my lessons. Then that's how I began to publish pamphlets. So I would go to a topic, and for example, I'm looking at sets, I structure questions, I give them. I began to see that there was improvement in terms of calculating and finding questions correctly according to the guidelines. And then later on, I began to, the same pupils came back to me and said, why don't you come up with a book that can help us? So that's how I began to compile, put all the ideas, looked at the objectives in line with the Ministry of Education, and then came up with a beautiful book. When I revealed to learners, they were very happy to see it, and they began to improve in mathematics.
So a lot of you teachers would actually say mathematics is not hard. It's like the easiest thing to learn or to do. But then what is the secret to math?
Yeah, the secret to mathematics is just believing in yourself, that nothing is difficult for anybody. I remember I used to think mathematics was difficult, but the moment I looked at myself and said, I think I can do it. If others have passed, I can also do it. It just begins from there, self-confidence, and then practice regularly. Then you'll be on course to getting a distinction in mathematics.
Well, I think I didn't believe in myself much anyways, but so how easy or how hard is it to write a mathematics book, like from start to finish?
Yeah, the most challenging thing, it's when you put the questions together. Of course, you have to calculate yourself first.
Yeah.
Then you have to look for people that are going to check through these answers that you have found in your book. Are they correct? But you would find that a few people would sacrifice for that service and say, doing this for you, I just solve it for free. So they would want to pay them, and some of them would ask for a lot of money just to go through, because you wouldn't want to have a book that you give to the public and then they solve, they find it's a wrong answer. So you have to ensure that you calculate, you find the answer, and then someone also confirms that, oh, what you have found here, it's wrong. What was the problem? Was it the question or was it the calculations? And then so that when the learner is solving a question, we'll be able to appreciate the book. I remember one time a girl came to me and said, "Sir, the question that you gave us in your book was very difficult, and I found the answer wrong." So I said, they bring the book. What was the problem? So we started solving, and then it's like she went to a particular tuition center, and then the teacher failed to solve that.
Okay.
So it was something else, and they said, no, it's like, oh no, maybe the teacher didn't put the negative, that's why. So sometimes it's all those things that we look at and say, okay, let's solve this. So as an author, you have to make sure that you write, you put the answers, and then you involve other people to check, to proofread your book. And that you will find that your book will have that standard and people will like your book.
So this book caters for grade 8 to 9?
Yes, this book caters from grade 8 to 9. For quite some time, I've been teaching classes from grade 8 to 12. So I began to look at this as a basis where I can build confidence in learners that I'm teaching, so that they'll be able to see mathematics to be the easiest way. But of course, I've written other books from grade 5, 6, 7, the same Explore Mathematics Revision Guide, and also grade 10, 11, 12 as well. So, but this is the one that I've said, let it go to the public first, because that's where I see there's a lot of challenge in terms of finding mathematics is easy. So I feel if I can improve on the book and other things that I can bring out in terms of literature in mathematics, I think we are going to help so many people. Even pupils will be able to appreciate.
Yeah. There are parents out there that, you know, have taken their children to school, but there isn't any improvement in mathematics, even going as far as taking their children for extra lessons. What could be the problem there?
Yeah, I think the problem could be the guideline on how to solve mathematics. I think we need to look at learners that they learn differently. So you need to put them in different situations whereby, for example, those who are slow learners, you come up with remedial work. For example, where I'm coming from, St. Mary's Secondary School, we have teamed up with the head teacher. Imagine the head teacher coming in and saying, let's come up with this program to help learners do remedial work. So these we've identified, there are 4 classes at St. Mary's. So what we've done is we've looked at previous performance. And we have said, okay, this one didn't do very well, failed, didn't reach 60%, because at St. Mary's, the pass is 60%. Okay. So if you get below 60, you get 50, it's a fail. So we looked at all those who got below 40 and we listed them, and then we said, okay, this is a class. So we started teaching and addressing their issues. And then when we asked them, is this program helping you? They are saying yes. I think I was not understanding in class. So sometimes it could be a child has a problem in understanding with that particular teacher. But then expose them to different teachers, even in the same school. Sometimes this teacher goes there, helps them in a different way. You'll find they'll open up and say, I was thinking solving this equation was difficult, but now it's easy. Why? Because maybe the way we teach, we have different types of methodologies that we can use. Yes.
And I think there is need for emphasis on the fact that maybe mathematics teachers need to be a little bit more extra attentive when it comes to the pupils, because like you said, the levels of understanding are very, very different. And I don't think that the Zambian setup of schools really looks into, you know, as an individual, what are your problems? I think those are some of the things that need to be done to improve the performance of, you know, pupils in schools.
Yes, I think teachers need to have what we call meetings within the department, and identifying problems, and those problems, you go to the pupils and ask them, what are your problems? Why are you failing? You know, sometimes as a teacher, you just be teaching, your learners are failing, and you don't do anything about it. All you are interested in is to deliver, and then you mark, you say, Iwe, wafeluka, and so on, and that kind of a thing. But the thing is, we need to come up with a strategy on how we can help every learner, because we are there for every learner, not just for a few individuals. Every person must benefit from the lesson. And we are saying, since every person must benefit, it means that every child has the capability to pass mathematics. So we need to work and find those problems and address them at the school level.
Absolutely. Yes. Is this the first book that you have written?
This one, it's my second book.
Okay.
But so far I've written about 15 books.
Okay.
My first book is Essential Revision Mathematics, Revision Guide, grade 8 and 9. And then there's also revision, Essential Revision Mathematics, grade 7, 6, and 8, grade 12 up to grade 10 up to 12.
Okay.
Yes, all those I've put them together. And then there are many others. There is also Purpose-Driven Mind. Yes.
From your analysis as a mathematics teacher, do you think that it's just a natural thing that, you know, boys are more interested in mathematics than girls? Most of the times.
Yeah, what I've observed is that boys will like to, because they are more into trying to discover things. But when you look at girls, they just want things that they can just do with, not to do with the mind, things that are naturally, okay, for example, sweeping, this and all that kind of stuff. But when you look at boys, they want to discover, they want to look at electricity, how is it happening here, there, so they would want to count things. So from there, we begin to see that that ability in boys, it's higher than in girls. But all the same, there should be a criteria which teachers should use to motivate girls also. And I think girls, when they are motivated in terms of rewards and so on, to say, okay, if you do better than boys, this is what you're going to get, I think we'll head somewhere.
But do you think that's changing these days? Because, you know, people are trying to fight for equality, and you know what girls can do, boys can do as well. Do you think that's changing a little bit now?
Yeah, I think it's changing, because I'm looking at the introduction of these schools that they are now saying boys should go to their own, and also girls should learn from their own on their own. So I think it will help them to concentrate and commit themselves to studying mathematics and sciences. The Ministry of Education has introduced that program where they are promoting more into promoting sciences and mathematics. So I think it will really help a lot. Yes.
Okay. And right now, let's take a short break. On the other side, when we come back, we talk about some of the effects of COVID-19, you know, in terms of education and how pupils have been affected with that.